Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Pursuit of Cabin Living series by 4 Expedition. I'm Scott Luthold. We're in late November, and we just finished up with Thanksgiving. We had a really nice Thanksgiving with some of our neighbors and friends that we've made here, and we've made a lot of progress in the last couple of weeks here at the cabin. As you can see, late November, no snow. We had a dusting of snow the other day, which I'll show you here in a little while, but no snow so far of any real significance, which is a little concerning for a lot of the local people because the ski resort's supposed to open, I think, on December 5th or December 8th or something like that. And I've talked to a lot of people about the snow season here. And it does fluctuate from year to year. But in the last couple of years, we've had some pretty deep snow. And in fact, I talked to a couple the other day at Thanksgiving who told me that the first year that they were here, which was probably about 10 years ago, I think in September they had 2 feet of snow, and it just kept piling up and piling up and piling up after that. So they had quite a snowfall that year. And I think last year we had quite a bit of snow here, and this year is a little bit odd. I think if you watched my videos over the summer, you saw that we had a ton of rainfall. In fact, I think we had more rainfall here in these mountains than pretty much anywhere in the West. A lot of places around the West were extremely dry, a lot of wildfires, and we didn't have any of that here. We had just a fantastic summer full of rainstorms, and all of the pine trees are still pretty healthy, I think, but we do need some snow. We do need a lot of that snow to build up, because if we don't get a lot of snow by next April or May, there will be probably a fire problem here, and we don't want that. So the more snow we get that builds up here, that melts off and keeps things moist and keeps the trees healthy, the better. Boy, we've had some really great things happen over the last couple of days. We finally got our water pressure and our water turned on. I've got to make a few adjustments to the pump, but I think we have some hot water now. And we got our incinerator toilet installed. I'll show you that. And things are just really starting to come together. We're still living in a construction zone, but that's kind of the nature of things in a place like this. We know quite a few people who are in very similar situations here around this area, and it just is what it is. And we'll just make progress a little bit here and a little bit there, and things will move along pretty smoothly over time. And I believe that over the next couple of days, I'll have all of the guts, the infrastructure of the cabin done. And then we'll be taking a little vacation, and we have a couple things we have to go do. And once we get back here, we'll be finishing up on a lot of the interior aesthetics. I am super excited about that. I'm really excited about getting the wall boards up inside and starting to paint the inside and getting some decor put up and making it really truly feel sort of this fulfilling this vision that I have for what I think it should look like on the inside, and giving it some true Western, Southwestern, cozy, what I would call mining camp authenticity. And so that's what we're going to be doing. And that's what this entire property, Mantle Rock, is going to be like at some point. You're going to come on this property and you're going to feel like you're in sort of a, I guess, an old mining town, if you will. And it's going to be a really beautiful place. And this is the first structure of that vision. I'm really excited about getting into December, and so is Heather. We both love the holiday season, and this will be the first year where the holiday season is a truly authentic season for us. We've both lived in Arizona for quite some time. There's really no snow down in the desert in the wintertime, so you sort of celebrate your Christmases at night. A lot of times my family would all get together on Christmas Eve because it felt more like Christmas than Christmas Day. And so here's going to be a really authentic Christmas. We're going to come back from our little vacation. We're going to decorate the exterior of the cabin and make it look really quaint, and we're going to cut down our own Christmas tree. I have a fake tree that we've used for years. I did ask around to a number of my friends and asking if there was a tree farm around where maybe I could cut down a tree at a tree farm, but there doesn't happen to be one. So I asked around, and a couple of my friends reached out to me and said, hey, just come out to our ranch and cut down a tree. We'll help you out, which I think is super cool. And one of those friends, his name is Landon. He's got a nice piece of property over here. And one of the things that he's done this year, first time ever, is he's built a huge ice rink on his property. And around the ice rink, he's got fire pits, and he's got a sledding hill, and he's going to open up his property to the public. So that's going to be really fun this year, and I'll share all that with you. And you know, Heather and I plan on getting out and doing a lot of outdoor adventure activities here, and I'm really excited about that. Snowshoeing and ice skating and cross-country skiing and downhill skiing and just hiking in the forest and all of that, and I'll share a lot of that with you. That should be a lot of fun. As things get done on this cabin and we get back to a normal lifestyle, I plan on rotating my shows on my channel. So maybe one week we'll have a cabin life series video, and then we'll go to an adventure video, and then maybe the following week we'll do a 5-spot, and then the week after that maybe we'll do maybe a gear guide and a tip jar in 1 week or something like that, and then we'll rotate. And that way all of my subscribers who like all the different kinds of content that I create will be able to enjoy that experience, and it'll create some diversity and some unique experiences as Heather and I get back to our outdoor adventure lives that we both truly love. You know, we don't have a pet, and the reason we don't have a pet right now is that neither one of us want that kind of responsibility. And I don't want this cabin to be a responsibility like that. So I'm setting up this cabin in a way so that it's automated. I can monitor it remotely, so I can monitor the temperatures in the house and all those kinds of things to make sure that the pipes don't freeze, surveillance, all those kinds of things, so that when we go away and do our adventures, we don't really have to worry about this place, and I can monitor it from afar. So that's a really cool thing, and that's part of the vision overall. I had this vision a while back where I wanted to create a series of cabins, different spots around the West, so that people that watch my channel could go on 4expedition.com and rent a couple of different cabins in different regions of the West, so they could tool around and enjoy staying in a 4Expedition cabin no matter where they were, and they would have a certain standard about it. So if I do that, I will make sure that all of the cabins that I buy and renovate around the West will have the same infrastructure, the same sort of high-tech features about them to make it a simple process. Anyway, this is just an exciting time for me, and this is just such a canvas for me to sort of just dive into my visions and create. And that's what I do. I'm a conscious creator. That's the kind of person I am. My purpose in life is to be a creator and inspire people to live their lives. And that's how I truly live my life, focused on that sort of I guess, main primary purpose of my existence. So anyhow, I really hope you enjoy this episode. So sit back and enjoy the ride. All right, so this morning, got a lot of projects we're working on, but one of the things I'm working on is putting some shiplap on the hallway bathroom wall, so that way we can hang our barn door that we have. We have a sliding barn door we're going to put on there. And we looked at a lot of different options for what we might want to use for shiplap. And to be honest, I mean, we went all the way down to Lowe's, which is about an hour and 45-minute drive from here, 2 hours drive from here. And that would be probably the cheapest in the area. And we could not find a shiplap option that we thought was reasonable. We were seeing ridiculous prices. I mean, lumber prices are just crazy. So anyway, we ended up going to a local hardware store here in our area, and we decided to get these. These were cut to 8 feet long. They were originally 16s, but these are 1x6s. And it turned out I got 25 of these 8-foot long 1x6s for about $350. Not terribly expensive, not affordable necessarily either, but they are kiln dried. They are very nice and smooth, and we're going to be painting these. So we're going to cover, let's see, 2 really big walls, 2 long walls, a short wall, and then a very short wall with this stuff. And then we have the rough sawn stained on the other wall that we showed you already, which is where the television is mounted. And then behind the headboard on the bed, we're going to wrap OSB in leather. So it should be a really interesting look. We're going to have 3 different color schemes on the walls, but they will all match very nicely, and it'll look very rustic and Western. right, so a couple of interesting observations. First of all, when you're using one of these nail guns, when you hit the trigger, it will drive a nail in there. If there's no nail in there, it'll still drive something in there that makes a mark. So I just got done nailing this entire board and it ran out at the second nail. So I've got about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 marks on this wood that don't have a nail in them. The other interesting observation I wanted to make is leveling. So I'm leveling this. The floor is slightly off. And, you know, we've dealt with this before with the cabinets. We also dealt with this with the rough sawn pine on the walls. And we've come to determine that to us, it's more important to level it to your eye than it is to level it with the level. And it's interesting because at some point, if you've got it level but your floor's off or your ceiling's off, everything's going to look wonky. So we've been making adjustments. So I'm doing that here as well. Another interesting observation I wanted to make is right here. Now, this is the log from the house. This is the addition. And then this is the stud for the first wall. And this measurement here, right about here, measures 11 1/4. Down at the bottom, it measures 11. And at the top, it measures about 10 3/4. So, as we've dealt with also before, our cabin wall here, the back wall of the cabin, the logs, is not straight vertically level. So when we attach the 2x6 here to the house that was originally here, it leans. So we have to compensate for that. We're gonna put a really nice piece of, we're gonna take a 12-inch piece of wood here and we're gonna put a flat trim piece here to connect the two to hide all of this. And because this wall is not level, when I start at the bottom with the horizontal shiplap, I go to the top, I've got to keep making it longer and longer and longer because it leans in toward the top. And so in order to compensate for that, what we're going to have to do, because we're not going to be able to butt up a trim piece here to here because it's going to be jagged and wonky, we're going to have to put another piece of trim over the top of that. So this one will be cut 11 to even out to the depth of the shiplap. And then I'll have to put another one over it that goes 12 that hides all of this. So that's kind of what I'm working on. Nice tool. That's pretty good.
Looks good from here. That's such a satisfying feeling.
All right, well, as you can see here, I've been making some progress on the shiplap in the hallway. It looks really nice. And the reason I haven't finished above the door here yet is because if you recall, Heather went to the Junk in the Trunk show in Scottsdale and she got some really cool things, including an old window that we planned on putting above this doorway here. This is going to be a barn door slider here, and we were going to put a really cool window up there. However, the window that she purchased, we just realized is too wide for that opening. And so instead of putting it up there, we've decided we're going to put it up here. And what's really nice about that is it's in line with the front door window, but up high. So there'll be some natural light that comes in from this window on the door to that window and into reflect off the ceiling of the bathroom. So there'll be some natural light in there. Plus we're going to put a hinge on that window so we can prop it open just for a little bit of airflow. So now what I'm going to do is cut the studs that are here because this is not a supporting wall. I'll cut the studs. I've already measured how to fit that window in there, so the rough opening. And I'm going to cut that now, and then we'll hinge that window up in there, and then I'll finish the shiplap. tell you what, when you're working by yourself, one of your best friends is clamps. I usually will clamp stuff together so that when I do my cuts, you know, large pieces of wood don't just drop to the ground. Sometimes I'll do without, but something like this where this is only being held up by two nails at the top, I put this clamp on here and I can cut with the jigsaw at the top and not have to worry about this wobbling all over the place. Well, it's about 5 p.m. in the afternoon. I finally finished up the shiplap here on the hallway wall going into the bathroom. Looks really nice. As I mentioned earlier, I was putting a window in here. I got that all framed out perfectly, and we'll end up putting that window in there in the next couple of days probably. And then we have a sliding barn door that's going to go on here. We'll probably get that on the wall. And as soon as we get that on the wall, it's really great because it takes one more thing off of our living room and bedroom floors. All right, so today's an exciting day. As you see here, we have a 270-gallon water tank, and then over here, behind the patio furniture here, I've got this tube here. And I still need to cut this off and put a cap on it. But this tube drops down underneath the floor and on about a 45-degree angle drops straight down over to the water tank. And if you watched a lot of my past videos, you saw that I drilled a hole in the water tank and I put the PVC down in there. And so I can fill my 500-gallon water tank, which is underneath the house, from outside here in the front. And what's really nice is that I can back up the truck with this tank of water right up to the porch, hook up a hose, and because the truck is higher up than the porch, you'll end up having a gravity-fed water system that drops the water into the tank. I'm gonna stop it at about 1/3 of the tank. I wanna verify that the connections that we made in the bottom of the tank, which connect to a jet pump, which connects to an on-demand water system, all of that is leak proof. So we'll be doing a little bit of test on that right now. All right, as you can see, I have the PVC coming all the way down here into the tank and it's dropping straight down in there. I don't have the tank valve all the way open right now, so we're only pouring a little bit of water in at a time. I've got another spot in here where you can drop down in here and see the water coming into the tank. All right, so far so good, no leaks. I've been monitoring it very closely. I've got about half of the 270-gallon tank in here now, and it's continuing to fill up. I'm watching all the connections. I'm checking the tank for any possible leaks, things like that. I did notice that there's some PVC shavings floating at the top. I'm guessing that those probably ended up there by when I cut the PVC line at the drop over here where I'm putting the water in. Maybe some of the PVC shavings went down the line, but I can use a shop vac to vacuum those out of the top because I do have this little porthole here. Pretty exciting. If you watch this channel and you watch some of these episodes early on and you saw how we put this 500-gallon water tank in here, to me it's a pretty monumental moment to be filling up this tank finally after 4.5 months of work on this project. It's a pretty exciting time. our first 270 gallons in our storage tank. Pretty exciting, no leaks, everything looks good. And this process worked out really well. I'm really glad I was able to haul this block in the back of the pickup truck. You figure 270 gallons, we're talking about 1,800 pounds maybe. And my truck is a 1,500. I do have airbags in the back that I had in there when I had the truck camper. So I was able to air up the airbags, and that helped a lot. And that puts us above this drain tank, which is pretty awesome. So today we decided to get out and do a little hike. This trail is called Clear Creek Trail. We're in Cimarron Canyon. Cimarron Canyon is a beautiful, beautiful canyon that's very popular for fly fishing and hiking, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, things like that. And this is a state park, Cimarron Canyon State Park, plus it's also a game and fish property. So we're out here doing a little hike today, and it's a beautiful mid-November afternoon. It's a Saturday. We're gonna check things out. I've heard that there's a waterfall back here. I don't know. I don't know if this is the trail.
Because there's a trail that went that way too.
Well, let's go up here and see what's up here.
This one?
Yeah.
Since we're halfway.
Yeah, since we're halfway up the trail. There's no trail markers on this trail, so we're kind of taking a guess as to whether or not we're going the right way, but we're gonna go up to the top of this incline here and see the view. I don't know.
Oh, hey, look. There's one down there.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we got off the main trail. Looks like there's a main trail down there. I think we need to drop down. Get a little adrenaline going here. Wanna run down?
So go to the flat trail?
We're gonna go down this. Right there, cut across the valley.
The leaves are beautiful. Like a golden carpet. Follow the yellow brick road. Oh, the huge aspens.
Wow. Where'd that come from? Think there's an apple tree back there?
I don't know, we're gonna eat it.
Leave it to Heather to find a perfectly good apple hiding under a piece of ice.
Right here.
Is that where it was?
Yeah.
So cool. That's what I like about you. You pull an apple out of the creek underneath a piece of ice and take a bite.
Gotta be clean, right?
Yum.
Right? It's like perfectly preserved and fresh and
Crispy? Yum.
but like you said, where did it come from? These are all pine trees.
Nature's finest. And the apple's pretty nice too.
What else are we gonna find? Good?
Yeah.
Okay. You did it.
Voila!
Good job, love.
Check this out. Right here by the road. That is so cool.
Yeah, really.
Well, today we've been working on setting the shower. It's been quite a project. These things are not easy to put in. Give you a look at what we're doing. All right, we set the shower base here. We leveled it, and in order to adhere it down, we actually put spray foam down underneath it, and then we put some shims in there to level it up. We have not siliconed the hole yet, but that's the water's draining toward the drain now. And then over here, we're working on attaching the two walls together. So we're screwing these together. We had to cut out some notches here and here in order to be able to have our shower line here in the corner. You can see here, it's kind of hard to tell, but we've got this thing put together. I put a hole in here for the valve to go through, and we've siliconed the middle here, and then we clamped them together, and then we're going to put some screws in, and then we're going to install it.
Equidistant. Make sure that's word of the day. Equidistant.
Equidistant. Well, we're now on to the next phase. Putting that dial on the wall was a nightmare. It was, it needed to be pushed back into the wall more. It was very, very hard to get it flush and get all the screws in, but we got it in now, and we're going to put the glass in now. Well, for the past several months, we've had this last piece of shower sitting out here wrapped in a tarp. And this is all glass underneath here. This is the round shower front. Grab it out toward the edge. There's two of them.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty.
Set yours down. Come in here. Keep coming in. Yep. You can pick up from the bottom, I think, up on the side.
Look at how nice everything's coming. Oh, butt shot there. Now we're going to put the walls up. Oh dear.
Oh shit. Shit.
What?
Oh my god. We're gonna have to take this apart?
What do you mean?
The drill is stuck back there.
Are you kidding?
Does this... Oh, this moves. This still moves.
Well, see, that's why we didn't finish the project yet. Oh god. That's like a dentist leaving like an implement in your face. Ta-da! Oh dear. That's good because we need that on this easy part. This is the easy part. Oy vey.
Oy vey.
Love you.
Mwah.
Mwah.
1, 2. All right, so I think I'm going to do something here that I haven't done in quite a while. I want to talk about a particular product. I haven't done a gear guide episode probably since spring, but I have this product here that I really wanted to talk about. These are ratchet straps by a company called Strapino, and they're not just any kind of ratchet strap, they're retractable ratchet straps. Now, I've had ratchet straps in the past. I've got some in my truck right now, and in fact, about a month or two ago when we went into town to get our mattress to put in the bedroom, I had them on the back of my truck, and I didn't have my ratchet straps along at the time, so we were hauling these mattresses without ratchet straps, and one of them flew off into the highway. And it turns out that a gentleman followed up behind us and pulled over, and he said, "Hey, you're Scott and Heather. You've got that channel, 4 Expedition. I love your channel." And he let us use his ratchet straps. And I've still got to get those back to him. Nonetheless, I was doing some research on retractable ratchet straps, and I came across these Strapino Ratchet straps. It's a US company that makes them. I think they're really cool. And in fact, I'm going to show you how they work. And then for my Team 4X members, I bought a whole second set, and I'll be giving those away to Team 4X in December. So this will be our gear guide giveaway for the month of December. And these are some really nice straps. So let's go ahead and show you how they work, and then we'll talk a little bit more about them. All right, so I thought I'd use this opportunity to show you these straps by doing a little project that I need to do. I've got a friend that wanted some of these rough sawn pine pieces that we're not using, so I thought I'd load them up on the truck and take those over to him. And as you can see, they stick out quite a ways. I've got a decent stack here, so this will give me a good opportunity to use these straps and show you how they're used, and just show you how nice they are compared to a lot of other straps. All right, so let's take a real quick look at how these work. I think they're really cool for an illiterate strap person like myself. You've got this hand clip here, you've got the rubber handle, you pull that back and forth. When you open this up, that's what allows it to retract back and forth. It's opened all the way, it's not locked. Now, if I pull that and I pull this in, it locks into place just like so. So now I can't retract it, I can't do anything with it. Even if I pull this finger lever, it still won't retract. So with this finger lever pulled, if I open this back up, as you can see, it totally retracts back in. Then you close it up and it locks again. And when you want to put these away and you're not using them, it really doesn't take up much space, and it doesn't take any time to retract these back into place. You should see how mine look in my truck right now. I'm going to show you. You'll see that I have a whole bunch of straps just piled up under here. These camo ones were the ones that were given to me by a friend of ours here in town. And then these blue ones are the ones I've been using. And as you can see, they're not retracted, they're not rolled up, they're nothing. And in fact, if I pull all this out of here and I lift up this cover here, you'll see that I've got all these straps just kind of sitting in here. These straps are fine, but they're a real pain in the butt because you have to unravel them before you use them, or if you have extra strap that you don't want to use, you've got to wind it all up and maybe cinch it down with a zip tie or some duct tape or something like that so they don't flop around in the wind. What I love about these straps is it only retracts out what you need to use, and it pulls back in very easily. When I put them away, it won't take up as much room as these straps that I've got now. So lastly, I wanted to show you this accessory that I got from Strapino. This is a box of 4 soft black straps. And these are generally used for, if you want to haul your motorcycle or something like that, you can lay this over the top of your bike, and that'll create some tension, and you can hook the Strapino locking straps to the sides here. And this allows you to lock down your motorcycle without attaching the clips to your motorcycle, which can cause some scratching. There's 4 of them here. I think these are really cool. You can either hang this over your handlebar and pull down on it with your strap, or you can lay it over the top of your motorcycle and pull down on both sides with the strapping. Either way, I think these are really great and probably a necessary accessory if you want to haul a motorcycle or do something like that. Maybe tie down straps for your boat if you have a cover over your boat or something like that. All right, well, there you have it, the Strapino Retractable Straps. I think these are going to become my primary straps that I use. The straps that I have in the truck now I'll probably put in the RV as backup, but I really like these because, first of all, they're really easy to use. I love the retractability of them. They don't take up any room in the truck. They're not a big mess. You don't have to unravel them when you need to use them. It's just super easy, and frankly, like I said earlier, I'm not very good with straps for some reason. These I can use very easily, and I think they're going to be great too with these little soft straps when I want to take the motorcycle along, or I want to strap something into the truck that I don't want to risk having scratches on it. So there you have it. If you are a Team 4X member, you're already entered into the drawing to get a set of these. If you're not a Team 4X member, you can sign up at any time. Just go to 4expedition.com/join and you can find out more there. And if you would rather just want to buy some of the straps, in the description down below this video, I'll have a link to them and you can go online and buy them yourself. All right, well, there you have it. I've got the exterior venting done for the piping for the incinerator toilet. And this venting here is primarily just for discharging and blowing out any possible smells that might be coming from the toilet, so it's not really heat related. And boy, this was tough. I had to run a 6-foot pipe down through the trap door in the house and then feed the pipe all the way over here. And after I cut that hole, I had to lift up the pipe and I pushed this in. I cut a little bit of the end off and was able to feed it inside the pipe and then screw it on. Essentially, I'm using one of these dryer vents. And what's really cool about these is that there's a flap inside. So when they aren't blowing, the flap closes so no critters can get in there. There is a screen on here. And what I had to do is the thin-walled PVC, 4-inch thin-walled PVC that I used for that ventilation had about a 3.5-inch largemouth opening to be able to slide over another piece of pipe. And this fit inside there. I had to cut this down to about 3.5 inches. And then I basically just slid it in this hole and fed it inside that pipe. Now I'm going to go inside under the floor. I'm going to add on another 56 inches to that pipe because I couldn't fit any more of it underneath the house through that trapdoor. And once I add that on, I'll put an elbow on. I'll figure out exactly where the hole needs to be drilled in the floor in the bathroom. And then I'll feed that pipe up and put another elbow on right into the back of the incinerator toilet. And really, that's all that you need to do. There's no water that goes to the toilet, essentially. And I'll show you this once we have the toilet working. But the toilet just incinerates what you put in it. And you have to put these liners down in the bottom. You put the liner in, you go to the bathroom, you hit a button, it drops down into the incinerator, and the incinerator starts up and starts burning whatever's in there. And then feeds, blows the scent outside if there is any left over, which there really shouldn't be too much because it's heating it up and burning it. So one thing I like to do when I have to cut a big hole with a hole saw on an uneven surface. So here I've got the 2-inch 2x6. It's actually less than 2 inches. And then I've got a matching one here because this isn't going to be here, but I put it here and screwed it down so that with the hole saw I can screw or cut down evenly. Otherwise I'd be cutting half of a hole and these things will tear your arm off. They've got really sharp blades. When they go around, they can catch, and it's really easy for them to catch when you have an uneven surface. So I screw this down, make an even surface, and then I'll unscrew this. Unfortunately, this vent pipe isn't going to be inside the wall all the way. It's got to be out a little bit. It's just because there's a 2x6 underneath here going down, and I've got some PEX tubing that's in the way of where the pipe needs to go, so it needs to come out. So therefore, we're going to have to build out some kind of a cabinet or something behind the toilet here, and that's all fine. Cool. This channel is sort of a vlog as well as it is just an adventure series, and sometimes I just like to share some thoughts. One of the things I really wanted to share is this whole concept of convenience, and how, for me in particular, I think Heather a little bit as well, but for me in particular, I have learned through this process of building this cabin to really, truly appreciate the finest little details of what it takes to have a home. So for instance, I don't know, for the last 52 years of my life, I'd maybe take a shower and had hot water, and hot water just came out and it ran down my body and ran down the drain and it just disappeared. And I didn't really have to think about where the water came from, how it got there, coming down on me, and where it went after it left my body. And that's a really interesting thing to think about. And I've talked to a few different people about this lately. And in the past, I've written an article called The Inconvenience of Convenience, which talked a lot about sort of this, what I call the Costco consumer generation, the Costco consumer society. And I was caught up in that for many years, and I'm sure many of you are as well. And don't get me wrong, I'll go to Costco every once in a while, even here. I've been to Costco a couple of times by driving 3 hours away from here to get to one. I still see the value in all that. But what happens is when you live in a city, you end up going to Costco every weekend and you're buying literally $800 or $500 worth of stuff. And sure, deodorant will last you the next 10 years. But, you know, I remember times when I used to have a Yukon, a GMC Yukon Denali, and we'd go to Costco and I'd lift open the back, and by the time we got everything in there was hardly any room to put the kids. It's just the way it was. And that's back at the time I wrote that article. Well, here, life is very, very different from that. We have a grocery store not too far away, but other than that, there's not much else. I mean, there's a dollar store or whatever, but if I want to go to any kind of a thing, like the best thing I've got nearby is about a 45-50 minute drive away to a Walmart. And otherwise, it's just small mom and pop shops, which I really, truly enjoy and appreciate. But getting back to the conveniences of living, I've had to figure out every single part and piece and nuance of how the water gets around my house and where it goes when it leaves. And when we do finally have a shower, which we don't have a shower right now, we've been going into town to take our showers, but when we do finally have a shower where I'll be able to climb inside of it, close the door, turn on the water, and it turns hot, and it runs down and out and it goes somewhere, I will know every single aspect of what it's doing, how it's doing it, why it's doing it, and if there's any issues whatsoever, I'll know exactly what's going on. And that is something that I would love to gift to every single person that's watching this right now. For you to have an experience where you truly have to understand every single little detail about what it took to create the house that you're living in, I guarantee you, you will never take it for granted ever again. And even if you don't build your own home, help someone else, or sign up for a workshop where you have to go out onto someone's property and help them build a structure. And that's something I may do here in the future as well. Have an experience where if you want to help learn how to build a small structure of your own, you can come out onto my property and I will host a workshop that teaches you how to do that. And you will put your hands on a hammer and you'll put your hands on a saw and you will do the process along by my side. I think that's a truly exceptional and beautiful experience for anyone to have in their lives, so they can have a lot more appreciation for all of the things that we took for granted when we lived down in the valley, in the desert. Somebody just created these things for us, and all we had to do is turn the key, give them money and turn the key, and we had a home. It's not an easy process. It's way more complicated than I ever imagined it would be, and especially in my situation where we're sort of semi off grid, and hopefully by next year or the end of next year, this cabin may be completely off grid. I'm considering putting in a whole solar system where we don't have to be on any kind of public power. So, and in fact, I may be selling power back to the grid at some point. So that's what we're doing here, and it is a truly remarkable educational experience for anyone to have. And I would definitely, if I were you, pay attention to my workshop series that I'll be having coming up. When we decide to build a structure here on the property, I may invite some of you out here to help out. And if you do want to do that, great. I may, depending on how popular they get, I'll probably charge for those workshops, because it's my time and energy and my experience now and my skill to teach you how to do things. And that's what I'm doing here on this property. I'm creating a canvas, a place where I can generate revenue streams for myself without having to depend on clients and customers, to do the work that I used to always do, having to do with brand development and graphic arts and web development and all of those kinds of things. And so anyhow, I think that's a really wonderful thing for you to consider in the future for yourself, even if you've never thought about it, considering this idea that you want to learn, and it's not easy to learn, but learn all of these parts and pieces to creating your own home. All right, my friends, I think that's it for this episode of the Pursuit of Cabin Living series by 4Expedition. I really hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it. If you haven't become a subscriber to my channel, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Of course, be sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when videos go live. And if you consider yourself to be an adventurer and you're looking for an adventurer community, consider joining Team 4X by going to 4expedition.com/join to learn more. Until the next time, take care.